I hate the notion that it's the Senate's job, nay duty, to confirm whomever the President nominates to sit as a justice upon the Supreme Court bench. The Senate is not meant to be an insipid gaggle of the President's yes-men. We already give him a cabinet for that. Rather, it's meant to represent a separate branch of government. We do not elect a president and then, through his or her divinely ordained command, the Supreme Court justices. It is a nomination and confirmation process that has absolutely every right to be as much of a fight as any other kind of democratic process that we employ in our system of government. To assert otherwise erodes this country's already tenuous claim that it is still a democracy, a representative government of, by, and for the people, and not instead a kingdom masked by the elaborate veneer of pomp, circumstance, and status quo reasoning. For the record, I'd say this same exact thing if the parties of those in power were reversed. And so I ask this. Are we simply too contentedly lazy to care? Is the political game rigged so badly against the common man that any hope of its reclamation must be dismissed as folly? Or has our collective political sloth, as ironic as that phrase is, given how much money is spent on campaigns and how very many months they last, has our sloth blinded us to our responsibility, not simply to this generation, but to the next? A responsibility to preserve the liberties enshrined by our Constitution, and root out the weeds that threaten to choke the populace until it has neither the strength nor will to muster anything but indignant and progressively zombie-like demands for its panem circenses. As horrifying as it is for us to contemplate the next generation's abject ignorance and misery, there is something that should fill us with a more proximate dread. The blame for, the root cause of the next generation's plight will not fall so much upon their shoulders, but upon ours. If we shirk our duty to ourselves and each other, in so doing, we will settle for something, passing on something, far worse than what we received from our forebears. A cheap, lousy inheritance for our children. Jesus Christ's assertion, if you who are evil know how to give good things to your children, won't even be accurate anymore. The impetus for this is not only the issue of Scalia's replacement, but the ongoing primaries and upcoming general election. So the next time you hear people running for office promise things like, I will make America great again, or I will restore her to her former glory, or I will take her confidently into the next century, tell them, not without my help, you won't. Hold these candidates to a higher standard by devoting more than a mere tweet read's worth of time, and maybe we won't have to lament the deadlock and infighting that plagues our representatives in all branches of government quite so often.